Another Brick Fan here with day 18 of the Advent Calendar builds. This year we'll be doing Harry Potter, Star Wars, and City. But before we get into the build for day 18, let's take a look at some of the builds we've done so far. Over here we have the builds for Harry Potter. The grand piano you see up front here was yesterday's build. Here are our Star Wars builds, with the pit droid being yesterday's build. And finally with City, we see this small airplane up front, which was yesterday's build. Let's get into today's build. Let's start off day 18 with the Star Wars Advent Calendar. Here it is in the top row. And it looks like a snow speeder. Here is the completed snow speeder. I think it looks pretty accurate. These bars I think are a little too long and kind of take over the slope because it gets covered up by the bar. If you look at it from the top, you see it looks more square. Not too bad though. The cockpit is nicely done with a slope here in the front and then another translucent piece here to represent the gunner's area. Here's the harpoon gun represented by this 1x1 stud with a post. The engines are represented by this 1x2 with the slope here. So the studs on the side to represent the engines. Looks good in this scale, with the exception of I think these bars are just too long, but that's the standard bar size. So they got to use the pieces that they have. Let's go ahead and move on to the Harry Potter set. Here's the Harry Potter set. Let's take a look at day 18. And it looks like a banquet table. Here is the banquet table, or at least half of one, it appears. A lot going on in this table. There seems to be a couple of different colors of maybe glasses up front here, some different bottles of liquid back here, and then I'm not sure if these are hors d'oeuvres or some kind of plant decoration or whatever. There's a little tooth piece here and a 1x1 clip, and then the little leaf underneath that, and those are the same on both sides. If you look at it from the back, there is this 1x4 with the holes in it to allow it to connect to something. So I'm assuming there's another half of this table in future days, but we shall see. Let's move on to City. Looking at City day 18, and it looks like we have another vehicle. This looks like maybe a sports car. Here's our finished sports car. I think to me it looks more like a sedan though. It's got, here's the front windows, and then with the two windows here, to me kind of indicates a four-door vehicle. I like the coloring in this pale blue. Looks really good. Once again, just like the other vehicles here in City, the base is pretty much the same. We have two of these 2x2 with the studs, with the holes on the bottom, using the black studs there for the tires, and there's like a 1x2 plate in between those. And then we're using the trans red plate here on the back to indicate the brake lights of the car, and then I think it's nicely sloped here, so maybe a more of a hatchback style. So I know, so sports car or sedan, whichever you want, it's just basically a civilian car. And once again, done in that same vehicle style we've seen throughout this calendar, which I think turns out really nicely. Let's go ahead and recap day 18. Here are our three builds for day 18, starting with the snow speeder from Star Wars. Looks like half of a banquet table. Once again, a lot going on this banquet table. It's a very full table. And then another of these little vehicle builds for city. And this is a car of some kind, whether you want to call it a sports car or sedan or hatchback. It, of course, is up to you. I think it looks more like a sedan to me. Still, I like the color, and the build is solid, as we've seen several other times within this Advent calendar. Hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on day 18. I'm going to get started on day 19. And until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to my channel to see more of my content. I've left a link to my Advent calendar builds up here on the screen.